Hey guys, and welcome back. We've got our newest Dark and Darker patch dropped, which introduces the Frost Mountain locale. In the center of the map, there is a 5-use treasure hoard, which I wanted to make a quick little video about. If you do manage to get all 5 uses of the hoard, I think you can safely expect to get about 800 AP. The run I'm showing on the screen here was with a luck potion that rolled 50, so if you use a luck potion and get all 5 hits on the hoard, you can expect roughly about this much AP or a little more. If you compare that with the AP buy-in cost, you can see that farming this treasure hoard is definitely a viable way to push ranks. Seems like the existence of this treasure hoard is a replacement for the boss on the map, which isn't finished yet. They may keep it in, they may take it out, but at least for now, it's definitely available if you're trying to push AP. So to help us consistently make it to the hoard room, you can use this handy map. The gold star denotes the hoard room, the blue stars denote some statics that we'll use to escape, and the red stars denote some cheese spots for the elite mobs. In this run, we spawn in the bottom right of the map, and so we make our way toward the hoard room. The melee skeletons on this map are much tankier than their counterparts. Bait and punish tactics work just fine. So far, I've not noticed anything different about the frost crossbow skeletons. When you're baiting and punishing the melee skeletons, it helps to move diagonally backward away from their weapon. This will help ensure that you don't get hit by their lunge. Frost Mountain has no dark swarm, no blue stones, and no red stones. To leave the map, you need to find one of the standard static exits. If you're still on the map when the time runs out, you will die as usual. There are also 3 special static exits, which I believe can take multiple players out of the map. In the northeast, there's a very slow-moving lift. And then in the northwest and the southeast, there are boats. The map timer is about 12 minutes. When there's about 5 minutes left, you'll receive a debuff, which slows your move speed and action speed. And then when there is about 2 minutes left, that debuff will be further amplified. At some point between the second debuff and the map ending, I believe you start to take a little bit of tick damage, but I'm usually off the map at that point, so I'm not too familiar with that mechanic yet. The death beetles on the map are unchanged. So we're approaching the hoard room here as we've reached the center of the map. Inside are a ton of kobolds, which are quite similar to goblins, and 2 elite mobs. The kobolds are easily dealt with by using bait and punish tactics. And then for the elite mobs, you'll either want to dump them behind a door or use one of the various cheese spots. In this run, I dumped both of the elite mobs rather than using any cheese, but I'll still go over the cheese spots after the run. As you're approaching the hoard, you'll definitely want to clear out all of the kobolds that you encounter. If you leave them alive, they can interrupt you as you're taking hits from the hoard, and besides that, they're pretty fragile and easy to deal with, so you might as well. Opening this door and scouting the neighboring module will allow us to dump the elite mobs. So this big elite mob we're about to see is called Wendigo. Not really certain what it can do yet, but I know it can charge at you. I'm pretty sure you can sidestep it safely, which I do here in the video, but I also have invis ready just in case. They've kind of mixed things up with this mob because it appears like their head is armored and probably has a damage reduction applied to it. And then presumably the glowy region on their chest is the weak point. So yeah, we dump Wendigo in that room, and that deals with one of the 2 elite mobs guarding the hoard. Similarly to Wendigo, we deal with this big elite shield mob by dumping him in a room. Again, I feel like you can bait and sidestep, but I'm not certain, so I keep invis ready. So with the 2 elite mobs dumped, that basically secures the Hoard for us. You can see the Hoard here briefly on our left. So at this point, my thought process is to secure some statics and exit routes from this room. This gives us avenues of retreat and also secures our static exit once we're done farming the Hoard. First, we clear towards the northeast to our first static. At this point, the recording gets a little distorted, so I've sped it up and removed the audio. I recommend watching the minimap for this part so you can understand the pathing. In through this door on the right is our first static in the pyramid room. You can see its exact location on the minimap. We backtrack into the Hoard room here, and then we start pushing west for the second static. The second static is in this module here on the opposite side. When you reach the other end of the room, there will be a ramp that you go down. So yeah, when you get here for the first time, I definitely recommend securing and checking out both statics. That way, when you're done with the Hoard, or if you get pushed, you can escape. At this point, all that remains is to loot the Hoard. You'll want to sit on this side of the Hoard, as you see me doing here, as on the other side there are falling icicles which can headshot you. When you're looting the Hoard, you'll want to keep a lot of open slots in your inventory, as if the Hoard spawns a very large item and you don't have space in your bag, it'll simply be despawned. Don't be afraid to drop items on the ground and then pick them up later so that you have enough open bag space. Make sure you loot your chest and then head toward one of the static exits. So yeah, here's an example of the collectibles you can get from the 5 hits on the Hoard. If you manage to push in from the northwest part of the room, you can avoid the elite mobs entirely. So depending on the circumstances of your spawn and how you approach the room, you're not always going to be able to avoid the elite mobs or dump them. Since the elite mobs are pretty strong and tanky, it's a good idea to get familiar with these 3 cheese spots that I've discovered. On our handy little map here, they are marked in red. To begin, we'll look at the cheese spot at the top left. So in the module northwest of the Hoard room, there is a spot where the mobs cannot path. Clearing the area ahead of time is a good idea, after which you can pull one or both of the elite mobs. As you'll see here, the mobs get stuck on the light and then are easily killed. Moving on, the second cheese spot is in the northeast corner of the Hoard room toward the pyramid static. If you jump and then destroy the box over here on the left, the elite mobs become easy pickings. Be careful for mobs hitting the icicles, which are destroyable. Specifically, if you've aggroed kobold archers, you'll want to be very careful, as they can shoot and break the icicles. You can also hop up on the box and melee from this position. The third and final cheese spot is in the bottom left of the Hoard room. If you run over to these boxes, you can hop on top of them and then beat up whatever has followed you. So yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and good luck in the dungeon.